Today, I'm very privileged to have amazing guests from PPS with us, and we're excited to talk about some very interesting things, and we hope they answer correctly. Okay, on a lighter note, we had our communications team come up with a bunch of relevant but fun questions. So they gave these to us on cheat cards. So each one of us, Cavill, myself, and Stabiso, have cheat cards, and we're going to ask the questions as they come up.
Sure,
Right.
ready.
So first up, James, regarding impact and transformation, can you describe a moment when you realized technology truly changed the way that PPS operates or delivers value?
I can, and it's difficult sometimes because of recency bias, but yeah, it is something that happened recently. We've been on a journey for a while now to build a new digital onboarding system. We've been very paper-based up until now. It's been a bit of a journey. We've been going through a pilot phase, testing it, interacting with intermediaries, and yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge to get take up. But recently, we've had engagement from intermediaries, because that's the main user of this system, who a few months ago were so less supportive than we'd hoped, who are now coming to us because of what they've heard from other intermediaries using the system, saying it's good, and they're coming back to us and saying it's now changing the way that they think and want to work.
Oh, wow.
So for me, that's a very positive story that's sort of tech-based because we built the tech, but it's more around how the change management happens and people buy into the new way of doing things. So yeah, to have somebody who was critical a few months ago to come back and say, please, I want to sit with you again. I want to drive this thing. I've heard how great it is. Yeah. Has been a very positive story for us.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big one. James, again. How has technology shifted the way your team thinks or approaches decision-making?
Yeah, this is also one that's probably on a slower burner than I'd have hoped. What I'll talk around is what has been positive in this space. So we've been on a drive for a while for the team to understand data better, to make data-driven decisions rather than gut feel or who shouts loudest or who's got the highest title. And we're getting there. So we're starting to get the data that feeds into the teams, and they make logical decisions that are based on fact and metrics that we believe and have defined together mean what success is. But it is a bit of a journey to make sure you can get all the data you need to make the right decision. Sometimes you have data, but it's not actually the data that helps you make the decision. So it's been a learning journey. We've still got a bit of a way to go. And I think that's going to be some of the challenges in an AI-driven world going forward as well, how good the data is.
Awesome. Thank you. Ayanda. If your technology could solve one problem perfectly for people in your ecosystem, what would it be?
I guess technology itself never solves a problem on its own. It's technology together with people. But the best problem I would love to be solved for me using technology is the ability to gain insights from the data that we have. So we've got incredible data. We've built a lot of ability to interrogate that data, but just getting that and making it give me proper insights that help us make better decisions, that's a winner.
Awesome.
I'd like us to touch on risk, challenges, and learnings in your organization. I think your name has come up again. Was there ever a moment with your technology and development where basically you were not sure whether it's going to work? A very scary moment.
I think there are many moments. Whenever you introduce a change and you say to people that there is going to be technology that's involved, the first thing is fear. They fear being displaced by the technology. They fear that their relevance is not going to be there, power bases are being moved, etc. So whenever there's been big projects, including the one James just referenced, the first reaction is people talk under their breath, oh, this is not going to work, and so on, and they're not supportive. But the moment that they see that the technology is not threatening them, they buy into it. But that change management is a big thing that needs to be addressed right from the beginning.
And there needs to be a lot of buy-in as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Izak, so if your technology were to fail tomorrow, what would be the consequences? And what does that say about its value?
Yeah, we often remind ourselves that financial services businesses are actually tech businesses, applied technology businesses. So these days, our whole business actually rests on technology, which means that if technology totally fails, we have got a huge business problem. So obviously, we a lot of what we do is making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We did have an incident a couple of years ago where, for a while, some of our tech was not available and so on. It was a very valuable learning experience, and it actually helped us just to become more robust in our thinking and in what we do to make sure that doesn't happen. One nuance, though, remember, we are in the insurance world, in the investments world, but not in the banking world. I think in a banking world, it's even like minutes. If you lose minutes or so on, it's almost a disaster. We do have, we still do have stringent SLAs and so on, but there's a little space of maneuver that I think a business like ours have, which a business like a bank doesn't really have. But yeah, at the end of the day, we are tech businesses. We must realize that, and we must our planning must be around that.
Sounds very challenging. James, were there any assumptions you made at the start that turned out to be completely wrong?
Yeah, all the things you write down on the paper at the start of anything, whether it be a tech project or anything else, the business case, it's always wrong. Always. Because you can't predict the future. You never know what's going to happen. And part of it, we spoke about it earlier in terms of change management, is you build something because you feel it's a need or you've been told it's a need. And we see that with projects that you assume somebody's going to work in a certain way and they tell you they're going to work in a way, but when they actually physically get to the thing you built, it's not on paper anymore. It is going to be different and you have to adapt.
And that also means that you have to be very agile in your approach.
You do. And yeah, again, it's part of the challenge, the emotional attachment you get to this thing that you wrote down on the piece of paper and that teams have been working on together. And then to have to change something that you thought was good to make it better. And as long as you approach it in that way, that it's always around trying to make it better, then it can work out. But it can be emotionally draining when things change.
100%. Izak, your name is up. So what's the most surprising lesson your team learned regarding technology development?
Sure. I think it's some of the things we've already mentioned. The adoption of it is sometimes more the issue than the tech itself. So one must think wider than only the piece of tech that you're busy with. There's a lot of things around it. There's often processes that needs to be adapted. There's adoption. There's those kind of things. And I also think sometimes it's a bit of a slowly, suddenly thing, that adoption piece, once it starts clicking and working and once members start adopting it, suddenly, you're almost like surprised by what actually can get achieved and the efficiency that it can bring. So I guess the lesson around that is just don't be disheartened initially. If you really believe it's the right thing and so on, and if the business case stacks up and you think it makes sense, push through. Yeah. And then it surprises you at the end. Yeah.
Izak. So under the theme of innovation and tech, I think this is a very appropriate question on the back of some of the comments that have been made. Was there a breakthrough during development that made you stop and say, oh, wow?
Yeah, this really starts changing the whole thing. Yeah. Now, look, one example I can think of, we busy with something that started off as a bit of a skunk works, and CEOs must allow those to also, you don't know what's eventually going to come through and what's, you don't kill those things too quickly. But there is a piece of development that we thought it's got legs. But I think once we started rolling out, we actually tell ourselves this can change the world. This can really, really have big impact. So we're busy with it's still ongoing. It has been rolled out now to more than 1,000 members and advisors and so on. But our ambition is really tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So it's a big one. We're just surprised eventually, and you sit back and you say, wow, that's something quite special.
Yeah, it's a special moment, actually.
Yes.
Ayanda, with your favorite tech, what's a hidden feature? Skills like features, hey? Capability that most people wouldn't expect, but changes everything for you.
Well, at the moment, the rage is AI. The ability to use AI to do things. I don't know how to code. I've never been interested in learning how to code, but suddenly I can do things that I never thought I would be able to do. I used to rely on some colleagues for, like, if I wanted to inquire on certain data, I'm like, please, can you run this for me? And now I can do it for myself. It's just amazing. I built my own little robot recently, and I'm just feeling so empowered and so excited. So yeah, that's my new thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Can I ask an impromptu question?
Yeah.
So earlier when we spoke, you were also beaming about a new piece of tech that you have in terms of your electric vehicle. So what is the coolest hidden feature of that?
Sure. Okay. Besides power, and the ability for the car to actually build new friendships for me, particularly with the traffic department. I've made friends there that I didn't know I needed. They write to me more often. But it talks back. So,
Oh, wow.
so the one day I was coming from work and I said, "Oh, car, I'm feeling down today. What can you do to cheer me up?" And the car said to me, "You are driving this car. You're doing quite all right. Relax." And I thought, wow, this is amazing.
I'm surprised you haven't given the car a name. Why is it still called car?
Oh, I'm not trying to give a kudos to a specific brand, but it's called the Queen Mobile.
Makes sense.
Makes total sense. So, looking ahead, Ayanda, what's the most exciting, and I think when it comes to cars, or terrifying thing you can imagine technology doing in the business and in your field in the next 5 to 10 years?
Convergence. I think that's the most exciting thing. The way different industries are converging together and the way that technologies are enabling that. So if you look at our business being financial services, insurance, and you look at the health tech, fintech, and all of those things coming together really does make it quite a powerful proposition from a tech perspective, and what we're able to do. Things that were hidden before or things that were not accessible before become a lot more accessible. And the spaces where we need to play become very, very different. So I think that's convergence is it for me.
I will agree with that, but can I also give an impromptu add-on to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I absolutely agree that convergence piece, but there's one other piece that's also, but you said scary as well. Eh? So in our business today, in fact, in our live business, our only channel is face-to-face. In fact, our overseas associate business is Australia, New Zealand, same thing, it's independent brokers. The scary part is tech is advancing so fast that it could potentially disintermediate advisors. It's a two-edged sword. So we see, but we embrace that kind of challenge. We always remind ourselves in any challenge there's an opportunity, and we believe we at PPS can assist our advisors that rather use this as an enormous opportunity to become even more efficient, more effective, add more value to your clients. Because as I say, the risk there is you become irrelevant. There's a higher meta level that advisors will be able to operate in future. Tech will just make them super more capable of doing that, and we would love to be almost the brand that helped them do exactly that. Yeah.